Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. My name is Zay, and Luca released recently, and I absolutely loved it. The characters were amazing, the setting was great, and the story was honestly pretty spectacular. The only thing is that when the movie ended, I desperately wanted more. I wanted to know what Luca's life with Giulia was gonna be back in Genova. I wanted to know what happened to Alberto when he was back in Porto Rosso. And I wanted to see more Machiavelli. There's just something about that cat. And guys, luckily, like just purely by chance, Pixar actually included a sort of epilogue in the credits talking about what happens after the events of the movie. And I was so excited to see it there. And since I know a lot of people don't actually go through the credits of movies, I figured, you know what? I'll go take notes on a dirty, broken sketchbook of every single little piece of information we get so I can tell you what happens to Luca and his friends after the movie ends. So guys, before we jump into it, if you like Pixar, Disney, Harry Potter, Marvel, any of the fandoms, you can find all of them here. I make videos about fandoms every single Sunday, so if that sounds like something you want to watch, make sure to subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, let's jump in. I should have said dive in. And with that out of the way, let's dive in. Oh, that's not even diving. Whatever. So for the credits of Luca, we get some awesome drawings from the Pixar team. At first, I thought that these were concept art, but once I started looking, I noticed that they were actually events that came after the movie. I was watching it with my girlfriend when we realized this, and it was just an absolute ball getting to watch and be like, hey, that's that. Oh, that's that thing that happened. What? Did they just do that? And to start it out, the first thing that we see with some actual characters is Machiavelli, their cat. He is hanging out with this turtle that is for now unnamed, but don't worry, we'll get back to that. Now, the next thing that we get to see is Luca writing a letter to Alberto, which I think is absolutely adorable. The letter reads, Caro Alberto, Genova, and then it cuts off. So I hopped on to Google Translate because I don't personally speak Italian, and I found out that Caro Alberto means dear Alberto. It freaking melts my heart to see that they're actually maintaining their relationship. I freaking love these two. And from there we get to see a picture of Luca and Giulia actually sending out that letter. After moving all the way to Genova, Luca for some reason still isn't wearing shoes. Maybe sea monsters just don't like the constriction, you know? Now imagining socks over webbed toes would be disgusting. But he's in his human form. Put on shoes. So the next picture we get to see is Luca, Giulia, and Giulia's mom. This is a character that we don't actually see throughout the whole movie, so this is kind of a secret little Easter egg in the credits. Giulia's mom has overalls on that are splattered in paint, leading me to think that she's an artist, and she's hanging out with the kids along with their dog, whose name is Nerone. Nerone is licking Luca's face, and he's revealing his scales. So that means Giulia's mom knows about sea monsters now? I feel like they're playing really fast and loose with this secret. Or are they even trying to hide it? I'd assume that they wouldn't want to tell anybody, but maybe they will. They just broke the news to a whole town, and the town accepted them and loved them. Maybe they think the whole world will accept them. I hope so. That'd be awesome. And we actually find out a little more in the rest of the credits, so stick around. So the next photo we get is of Alberto. He is reading Luca's letter, and the letter seems to read, Caro Alberto, and then a bunch of squigglies, and then it says, Ciao Luca. I really wish we got to see what was in the letter, but we just got squiggles instead. Now, a really sweet detail is that Machiavelli is actually cuddled up next to Alberto, which is a lot of progress between the two of them. And a cool little detail about this is that Alberto is actually laying next to a bed that seems like it's decorated for him, so it seems like he got his own bedroom now. It's probably Giulia's, but the fact that he has his own space and now living with Massimo is absolutely adorable. As we know from the movie, he does not have a good father figure, so I am delighted to see one finally stepping up. So I'm really glad to see that he actually got that. And now he even has his own room. And speaking of that room, there are actually a few decorations that I think are really cute. On the wall, we get two photos. Now, I couldn't tell who these people were, but I would assume that they're probably Luca and Giulia. In addition to that, he actually has a bookshelf, and on the shelf is actually a stuffed Donald Duck. An interesting little crossover. And then the last piece of decoration we see is a poster for a Vespa. Obviously. Now, the next thing we see is Luca, Giulia, and Giulia's mom. In the background, we have Genova, and I actually did a little bit of research as to the lighthouse that was in the window. Apparently, that's a real thing in Genova. Look it up. There's like 3 different names. That is simply called the Lighthouse of Genova, and it has a really cool history behind it. It was constructed a long time ago to the point where the light in the lighthouse was made from fire and not from a light bulb. It survived bombshells and was like reconstructed by one of like the King Louis. Like, it's insane. There's a lot of history behind this. And it's cool to see that they're actually in a real place. You could go visit the town that Luca lives in with Giulia and her mom. Now that would be a cool excuse to go to Italy, wouldn't it? Now in this photo, Giulia and Luca are reading a letter from Alberto Alberto. And in the background, there's actually a photo of Nerone, their dog, hanging on the wall, which I think is so cute. I gotta frame a picture of my dog somewhere. And if you take a look at the bottom of the photo, just underneath the table, you'll find that Luca's still not wearing shoes. Come on, man, if you're keeping this a secret, people are gonna start figuring stuff out. Hey, have you noticed that kid never wears shoes? Yeah, that's the same kid that like won't get wet anywhere, right? Yeah, and you know what? He came back with Julia from Porto Rosso. Isn't that the place with all the sea monsters? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. You don't think that he's like, nah, right? No. But I mean, he never wears shoes. Yeah, exactly. So the next thing we get to see is Julia's dad, Massimo, going down beneath the surface to hang out with Luca's parents. He's back in the diver suit that Luca wore in the movie, and he's hanging out with Luca's dad and his grandma. They're actually looking at the dad's show crabs, and the dad's getting pinched by one of the crabs. An interesting detail that I noticed is that Massimo seems to have both hands in this photo, even though we know that he's missing one. He was born without one. Now, at first I thought this was a mistake, just a little bit of an oversight, but I would like to think that the reason it looks like there's another hand there is just because the suit needs the glove part. Like, the whole thing's supposed to be waterproof. If you get rid of the glove, water will get in, right? That's at least my headcanon. Now, after that, we get to see Alberto delivering a letter from Luca to Luca's mom. How exactly does that letter stay okay underwater? Is it like wax paper? Did he laminate it? Could they laminate back then? So moving on, the next thing we get to see is Luca and Julia on the phone in Genova. Now we actually get to see the other side of this phone call, where we get to see Luca's parents, his grandma, Massimo, Machiavelli, Alberto, all huddled around this phone talking to Luca. And an interesting detail in this is the fact that Luca's parents are actually back on land. It seems like they're not as scared to go up there as before. I would say that the grandma's not as scared, but apparently she just had a secret double life on land that nobody knew about. Now after that, we get to see Julia and Luca hanging out on a balcony looking at the lighthouse of Genova. Presumably she's like, hey, did you know that got bombed? Did you know they used to use fire? This thing's so rich in history. And after that, we get to see one of my favorite photos in the bunch, Alberto walking with the old ladies that were revealed to be other sea monsters in the movie, Luca's grandma, and who I think is one of the old bullies, but they're all walking in line eating ice cream, and it's adorable. All right, so after that, we get one of the coolest pieces in the credits. We get to see Julia hanging out with Luca and Julia's mom. Now, Luca is standing and posing in the middle of what looks like a metal wash tub as Julia's pouring water on him from a watering can. Of course, this exposes his scales, and Julia's mom is in the background painting a picture of him with his scales out. So this does confirm that Julia's mom knows about sea monsters. And also, I really want to see what this picture looks like, especially because the pose from the front looks cool, but from Julia's mom's point of view, it's just a lot of butt and tail. Like in the front, it looks like Luca's like, ah ha ha, I'm a sea monster, ha ha. But in the back, it must be like, I'm a sea monster. All right, so after this, we get to see Massimo throwing Alberto a birthday party, which is just, it's every single one of these things. I feel like I keep saying like, oh, and it's so sweet. Oh, and it's so sweet. But they are. That's adorable. There's a cake, there's balloons, there's a card, they have little party hats on. And best of all, Massimo is actually gifting Alberto with the knife that Alberto wanted earlier in the movie. God, their relationship is like seriously one of the best parts of the movie. Also, Machiavelli's eating cake in the background. I just thought you should know that. Now we move on to a really crazy one. We see Luca and Julia at school in Genova, and Luca's showing his classmates and his teacher that he's a sea monster. He's sticking his hand in a fishbowl, and you can see the scales, and everybody's like, dude, what the hell? I mean, the teacher must be like, oh my word. The classmates are just there like, ooh. And if I was there, I'd be like, how is he a sea monster? He's wearing shoes. Yeah, he finally wears shoes in this scene, and it's where he reveals himself. It's like he's trying to mess with me. Now after this, we get to see Alberto playing in the water with two little kids, splashing them with his sea monster tail, which isn't as crazy in Porto Rosso because they all know that sea monsters exist. But what's really cool is that Alberto seems to be wearing a lifeguard's uniform. Now the exact thing that his shirt says is salvaggio, which I went back to Google Translate, and apparently that means life-saving. So that seems like a really cool little side job for him. I mean, what better person than a sea monster, right? I love to see Alberto prospering. He deserves it. Now after this, we get to see Luca and Julia in a movie theater. Luca seems to be terrified, so I'm assuming it's a horror movie, but who knows? He's never actually seen a movie before, so maybe he's just terrified that like, how are they moving? It's like that story in film history where like people saw a train going at them on screen and they all flinched. Now after that, we see something really cute. We see Alberto hanging out with Machiavelli and Machiavelli's wife, what? Apparently Machiavelli's got game, and he went and had a bunch of little kittens. 8 kittens to be exact, and I named them. Now we got Machiavelli, and if you don't know, Machiavelli was an Italian diplomat. I looked him up on Google, found a bunch of people that he influenced, and used those names to create the names for these kittens. Going from left to right, we have Hobbes, Jean-Jacques, we have Rousseau, Nietzsche, Francis, Baruch, Antonio, and Vico. Which one's your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. I'm super curious. I think that my favorite would be this one. Now moving on, the next thing we get to see is Luca and Giulia in a library. There's a sign in the background that says Libri, and I looked that up and it just means books. Luca looks totally stoked to see all these books. Good for him. But the thing that I'm more interested in is the fact that it appears to be snowing outside. They're all in snow gear, the windows show snow outside, and they have even some snow on their beanies and coats. The reason that's interesting to me is because Luca reveals his scales when he's touched by water, right? If snow touched him, would he reveal his scales? Would he need to wear like more protective weather gear so that he doesn't reveal his scales? I know for sure he would need shoes. He needs snow boots to hide those stupid feet. But no, apparently he only wears shoes to school. He's mocking me, and I know it. Now after that, we get to see Luca's parents back on Portorosso playing soccer, or I guess football in this case, with some local youths. They're in the plaza that they were playing before. I'm surprised any of these kids are playing with them after Luca's mom just freaking wrecked them. But they're all playing in the square, seem to be having a good time. But the sweetest thing is that the statue in the middle of the square where somebody was killing a sea monster has been replaced with a statue of Luca. And it's actually the statue that Luca made of himself at the beginning of the movie to try to get away and look at the surface. I just think that's so cute. Now the next thing we get to see is actually again of Luca's parents. They are visiting Massimo, having some espresso with him and Alberto. And the mom seems to be handling it well, but the father is just losing it. He's swinging from a light hanging in their kitchen. Now the next thing we get to see is Machiavelli chilling on top of the turtle from before. Now I told you this would come back, and here's where it does. The turtle is eating out of a food bowl. Apparently this is one of the family's pets now, and his name is Caligula. I looked that up. Apparently he's the 3rd Roman emperor. Well, not he's the 3rd Roman emperor. The name comes from the 3rd Roman emperor. No, you know what? Yeah, the turtle's the 3rd Roman emperor. He's finally retired and hanging out in Portorosso. All right, so after that, we get to see Luca and Giulia at school with their teacher and classmates that we saw before. And Luca finally gets a chance to use a professional telescope, and he gets to look up at all the anchovies in the sky. After that, we get this great parallel shot of Alberto and Luca hanging out in their respective cities, both of them having fallen asleep after reading. They're just so freaking cute. If you take a look, Luca is sleeping near Nerone and reading some untitled books. They look like textbooks maybe, but Alberto actually has some labeled books. So if you take a look at them, you see that he's reading 3. There's one about Vespas, one about motors, and the other says velocite. I Google translated, and it means speed, which makes sense. And Machiavelli's also hanging out. Now that photo is actually the last one we get to see in color, and they actually get a lot less time given to each of them from here on out. So this is kind of like the lightning round of the epilogue. So we're gonna try to rush through these, okay? I'm just gonna straight up look at the book. We're gonna try to read them off. The next thing we get to see is Alberto's drawing of him, Massimo, and Machiavelli fishing with just a mountain of fish on the boat. After that, we get a drawing of Alberto and Luca. We get a carving of a Vespa, which is so cute. I wish they sold that. I want to buy that. That'd be like a really cute keychain. From there, we get to see Alberto's modeling career, right? It's 3 photos long. The first one we get to see is him, being pretty silly. The next one we see is him with a giant pizza. And then after that, we get a model photo. I love that one so much. After that, we get an angry Machiavelli. We get Giulia and Luca on bumper cars. We get to see Giulia taking Nerone on a walk. Luca planting a flower. We see kids back in Portorosso drawing Luca out of chalk on the street, and he looks freaking terrifying. And then right after that, they draw him again, but this time it's him as a sea monster on a Vespa. What a great image. After that, we get to see Alberto reading a newspaper with the old ladies that were in the movie, Luca's mom, and Machiavelli. And after that, we see Luca's parents sneaking some more food from Massimo's pot, because Massimo is apparently an amazing cook, and apparently waking him and Alberto up from like a deep sleep, because they look super gone. Then we see Machiavelli meeting his wife, which, oh my god, we need a name for her. Marietta, because Machiavelli's wife was literally named Marietta. So we see Machiavelli and Marietta finally meet. This is like a prequel, I guess, huh? But when they met, apparently they had like a Lady and the Tramp style moment with some pasta. That's adorable. And then in the very next shot, we see Machiavelli laying down and Marietta coming to attack him. She's pouncing on him. They seem really sweet. Then we see Alberto dancing on top of a jukebox with some local kids. Then we see Massimo spinning pizza, so proud, and Alberto trying to copy him, but apparently having dropped one of the pizzas on Machiavelli. He does not look happy about that. Then we get to see Machiavelli and Marietta's kittens hanging out and playing on a boat. Then we get this really cute photo of Alberto holding what I think are 2 big loaves of bread. Then we see Giulia, Luca, and Norone laughing at photos. I'm assuming they're the ones that Alberto has been sending. Hopefully it's the one where he's like totally taking it seriously modeling. Then we see this really peaceful photo of Alberto laying on a hill watching the clouds, and apparently one of the clouds looks just like a Vespa. Then we see a photo of Giulia, Giulia's mom, and Luca all eating dinner together. It's really nice to see that Luca left to Genova and he has such a nice, welcoming, warming, loving home. But it's also really nice to see that Giulia also has 2 separate homes that seem to care for her equally. Massimo takes amazing care of her. He's very supportive, and it seems like the mom does the same thing. So hopefully if there's any kids out there that are watching this that also have a split household, they'll see themselves and see like, hey, it's not a bad situation. Her parents live in 2 different places, but those 2 different places are still loving and warm. She deserves it. And if you're watching this and you're like that, you deserve that. Then we see one that I was so excited about. I remember watching this with my girlfriend and screaming and pointing at the screen, but Massimo gets a delivery car. Alberto's contributions of showing them where to get the most fish has apparently paid off immensely well, and Massimo was able to get a truck to deliver in. Then after this, we get to see Giulia, Nerone, and Luca all watching a movie together, with Luca wearing an astronaut helmet and holding a little rocket, which is so cute. Then we get to see Alberto with an anchor tattoo that he drew on with pen, and he's showing it off to a local kid. We get to see a Porto Rosso snow globe, which, oh my god, can they sell those? I would buy that in an instant. And then we get to see Alberto again with all of his fake tattoos, now way more than just the anchor, and he's chasing Machiavelli, trying to presumably give him a tattoo, and Massimo's chasing Alberto, trying to stop him, and Massimo has so many drawings on him. I'm curious how Alberto did this. Did he sneak in while Massimo was asleep? Did he actually convince him to get them? Now after this, we get to see Luca's dad's crabs Maybe I shouldn't say Luca's dad's crabs. We get to see Luca's dad's pet crabs playing cards together. And then the last photo that we get is a photo of Machiavelli sleeping. So sweet. He started all of these drawings and he also ended them. Nice little way to wrap it up. But did you know that there's a post-credit scene after this? If you didn't stay for this post-credit scene, shame on you. It's been 10 years of Marvel. You should know better. Now let me explain this post-credit scene. Now we get to see Luca's creepy see-through uncle back down in the deep, dark, deep down with the fish that Luca was hurting earlier. And oh my god, I feel so bad for this fish. This creepy uncle brings him down to the deep, dark, deep down, and he's telling him about like, oh look, there's whale carcass, and there's not much going on down here, but I like it. I like that it's slow. And this poor fish looks so uncomfortable. Thankfully, he backs away. Hopefully he went back up to go with the rest of his herd. But why did he go with them in the first place? Who let that happen? That uncle needs to stay down there and never come back. I'm glad that fish got away. And with that, guys, that is the end of the credits and the post credits. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what happens after the movie as much as I did. Honestly, I feel like this gives so much to the story and adds a lot of closure to it. So I'm really glad that they added this, and I was really glad to go back and look through it. Let me know down in the comment section below, what was your favorite piece that we got to see? Was it Massimo getting a delivery truck? Was it Luca with his rocket? Was it Luca without his shoes? If you say that, I'm coming for you. But let me know down in the comments. I'm super excited to see you guys. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like down there and subscribe while you're there if you haven't already. We have an awesome little family here and you would look great in it. As I said earlier in the video, I put videos out every Sunday about a bunch of different fandoms, so make sure to check them out. I'm sure I'll have something that you'll like. You can follow me on my other socials right here to keep up to date with what videos are going to come out, and also, hear about the stuff that's going on in my life, like how I've spent over 300 hours in Animal Crossing making an Avatar: The Last Airbender themed island, and I ruined my Switch with soy sauce, and it's all gone. So if you want to hear stuff like that, or stuff that's, a lot less depressing, make sure to follow me there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next week with another video. But until then, go do some good stuff. Ciao.